Hello YouTube, so what we're going to be doing today is just creating a infantry, custom infantry. So first off, what I've done is just literally created a base command. All it says is hello world. So if I just type in the command, got hello world right there. That's the starting point, and that's all we're going to start off with. So first off, what we're actually going to do is just make sure this is actually a player that's sending the command. I am not used to this keyboard. So there we go, so now we know the source of the command is actually a player. Sorry if you can hear the keyboard, I've got a very quiet voice, so I have to kind of boost the mic. Okay, so now let's actually get on to the creation of a custom infantry. So the first off, what you need to do is actually create a empty custom infantry. To do that, simply type in infantry builder and then build with your plugin ID. I forgot to grab my plugin ID. Just give me a second. I know this isn't the proper way to do it, but oh well. Like that. So now we're going to actually display that to the player. So what we're going to do is open infantry of that infantry. Gotta get rid of my hello world text. Okay, so now we're actually gonna just run that, make sure that it opens something. And there you are. Now, in Sponge, this doesn't actually have any slots. So we're gonna quickly fix that. So we actually do that by changing the properties of the infantry. So if we just say property, now you can actually grab all the properties by doing this. It's also on their GitHub, so if you prefer to view stuff from there. And there you are. So we're actually going to do Infantry Dimension. I'm going to do of. And then it says width, so we're going to do 9, because that's the typical width. And then height, we're going to do, I don't know, 6. So, actually I'm going to do 2 just to make it really obvious that it's a different infantry. So once again, if we run that, we'll be able to see something a little different with our infantry. And there you are. It's now too high. So now that we're actually opening up the infantry and creating a different size, we are now wanting to create the buttons. So what I'm going to do is simply just say item stack, call this one button 1, because I lack better names. I'll have the item type as let's go with an anvil. And a quantity of 1. And we're going to have a separate button called button 2, which has got to be a book. Now, we've actually created the buttons, but we need to put them in the infantry. So to do that, we need to query the infantry for a slot. So to do that, simply type in query and then query type, or operation type I should say, and then infantry property of, and then you want to say slot position or slot pos, and then of once again, and then the position that you want it in. So it goes X then Y with this one. So I'm going to say 4 by 1. That should get it on the second row on the 5th slot. Now return a slot, so I'm going to say button 1 slot. And then going to do the exact same, but for the row below, for button 2 that is. After that, we want to actually set the slot with the correct button. I've just realised it's quite low for you, that. Give me a second. There you go. So there you have it. Got the player, created the infantry, created button 1, button 2, got button slot 1, got button slot 2, set button slot 1 with button 1, and the same with button 2, then opening the infantry. So let's just see what happens when we run this. And there you are. We have button 1 right there, and button 2 on the next line up. Is that supposed to be that way around? Oh well. So you get the point. Now, the problem at the moment is we can click here and move it to there, or click here and move it to in here, which is not exactly what you want. So we're going to make sure that you can't actually do that. So the easiest way is actually using Sponge's very powerful event handlers. So you can literally just specify listener. Now we're going to do infantry click event, or click infantry event as it's called on here. So just got to do it like that, and then we're going to use the lander expression. Like that. So now this treats it as the event. as you can see here. So what we're going to actually do is grab the cursor transaction and then get the default. Which should return an item stack snapshot. And to make it simpler on my end, I'm just gonna say if it's a book or if it's an anvil. To say which button it is, that is. There are other ways of doing it, such as grabbing the actual slot position or just making sure it matches the button itself. That is all the properties inside. So if it's an anvil or a book, then we'll do different things. But first off, we want to make sure that they don't actually move. So because this event only fires when an infantry click event happens inside the custom infantry, we're simply just going to say event set cancelled. And that'll stop anyone from interacting with the buttons how we don't want them to. Because there's only two buttons, just got to use an else statement. So for this, we're actually just going to say player send message text builder clicked button 1 and clicked button 2. So if we click button 1, as you can see it automatically dropped the anvil, and it also said clicked button 1. And same with button 2, if I try and trick it with shift, doesn't work. Same with anvil, right click it, middle click it, nothing. And there you have it. Very basic custom infantry made completely from scratch.